All right, we are ready to go. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us in here today. We appreciate you coming join us. Good morning. Today is November 21st, 2022. It is a great honor to host this corporate noon meeting today. And yesterday we did welcome a super chubby unicorn to the world. So before we start it today, I would like to say good morning, and I'm going to send it over to Michael to say good morning to everyone. Michael?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, right? It is celebration time. There's no doubt about that. And so we're going to continue that theme throughout today and throughout the rest of the month and throughout the next month and the next month, because we're going to be in continuous celebration mode, because it is full time. It is full time. It has come, right? And so get ready, everyone. Be excited. Okay? Be excited, because you should be. All right, back to you, Julie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Michael. All right, Michael, I want this to be a little bit more fun before we let everybody know what topic we are starting. So before I get started, I would like to ask a question. How many of us here who is currently in the Zoom right now, and how many of us here watching on Facebook and YouTube, how many of us here know what we want to do when we grow up? You gotta answer that question to yourself. Well, some of us, who didn't know, well, I want to let you know that it's okay. It's okay if you don't know what you want to do when you grow up, right? Even though you're 80, 90, you're 70. And then for some of us who know what we want to do when we grow up, we know that life is the securest route that we are traveling, right? We may change our mind 2 to 3 times on that route. And, probably some people even change our mind about 4 or 5 times or 10 times, right? Some of us taking the route as an employees, working for somebody for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. And some of us became a business owners, right? We became business owners. We run multiple businesses or one businesses for many, many years. And some have became entrepreneurs like Michael and I, for example, right? But we still haven't really know what we are doing. Well, I'm sure with you that the journey of life that we are traveling right now has been exhilarating, right? Full of joy, full of up and down, full of excitement. And the journey that I am mentioning here is a journey that will be the rest of my life. And I'm very sure it'll be the rest of Michael's life and the rest of many people's life, is the journey of ONPASSIVE. Many people would agree with me that the most influential individuals in this journey is our CEO, Mr. Ash Mufareh. He has taken the ownership of his business very, very seriously, right? Not only in the last 4 years, but in many, 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 many years before that. So today, I would like to take this conversation between Michael and I out to share it to the world. And we want to focus on the topic of taking the ownership of your business. Everyone here know that Michael Williams' aim is one of the leaders that can clearly and can clearly communicate this topic. And so many other leaders as well can clearly communicate this topic rather than myself. So therefore, we call this session today, Taking the Ownership of Your Business. And I invited Michael to be here with me today to communicate this and to share this to the world. So Michael, it's not just the ownership of the business, but we can start by focusing on taking the ownership of our decisions, of our actions that we are doing every day. So without further ado, everyone, Michael Williams, AIM from Canada. Michael, the mic is yours. We could go back and forth talking about this topic.
Sure, absolutely. And, you're so right in talking about, a lot of people don't necessarily know what it is that they want to do in life. And for some people, it takes them a very long time. Some people know right away, right? So it just depends. Like I myself, I went to 3 different universities, right? I changed programs probably 4 times before I finally finished, with what I did, right? And then even in the workforce, I started out with a financial institution, but, certainly didn't end up there. Right. But I think for me, from a young age, I think I had that entrepreneurial spirit, based upon some of my activities while I was in university and so on. So I think it kind of came full circle for me in being able to, start my own business, implementing things whereby, I control my own destiny. Right. Ultimately, that's what it's about. Ultimately, it's about, not having to wait on others to take action, right? Being able to be responsible for your results, and I look to even my children. Okay, my son, he's taking engineering right now, but, I start with mechanical. Okay, now I've switched to civil. Will that be the final journey for him? As far as work goes, right? As opposed to my daughter, I want to be a psychologist. This is what I do, and so she stayed the course to this point, right? So people will figure it out on different scales, but at the end of the day, as long as you get to where your passion truly lies, that's the most important thing. And yeah, it could be for someone 60 years old before they finally are able to be in a position where they not actually be, engaged in what their passion is. Too many of us would just work simply because we have to pay bills, and it's not where we want to be, and regardless of the sector. Yeah, people are doctors and they really don't want to be a doctor, right? But, that's where life journey is taking them for whatever reason, but then you have the people then who have, the higher education, but then they come back, they dial it back and say, okay, is this really what I want to do? And so they switch careers, right? But what we do know is that when it comes to being a business owner, that's truly where people have the most flexibility, right? That's where people really have, the ability to do things on their own terms. And that's what ONPASSIVE is providing for every single one of us, giving us the ability to do things on our own terms. And so I'm excited about that. I can't wait for every single brand ambassador to kind of, grab onto that and understand what it is that they're engaged in, to see how this is truly going to bless their lives and in turn bless the lives of others, Julie.
Absolutely, Michael. The journey that we are traveling is a journey that it's already literally laying the groundwork for all of us, right? And so I appreciate what you're saying there, Michael, but I wanted to take this time to let everyone know on live right now, on Zoom right now. We started a little bit late today because we wanted to share the Zoom out to the brand ambassadors to join us on the second hours. Yet we want them to be here as well on the first hours, where we are doing live stream to the general publics and the brand ambassadors. The second hours, we will focusing on the brand ambassadors only. The live stream will be stopped at that time. So if you are currently watching this on YouTube, you could actually go into, we call it the back office at this point, and we will talk about why we mentioned the word back office at this time. The Zoom link is there. You actually can join us there as well. So let's get back to the conversation really quick, Michael. When we talk about the ownership of our business, taking the ownership of our business, we could start it from Mr. Mufara. and the great men and women behind the brand of ONPASSIVE. And we said it, we spoke several times about ONPASSIVE is interconnected. And a lot of the great men and women around the world are connecting together and taking that action of the ownership of their work, the products that they are creating. So let's talk about that, Michael.
Sure. Well, again, we know and we can see that, let's say you're in a company, for example, right? The owner is the one that cares the most, right? The person who owns the business cares the most. If you're an employee, most employees, not all of them, but most employees, they're just there to collect their paycheck, right? And then you do have some employees that actually, act as if the business is theirs, right? They take ownership of it, even though they're not the owner, right? But they still take ownership of it because as the business thrive, right, they also feel a part of that they were able to assist in the business growing, the business being successful, right? And so, where we come in as brand ambassadors is the same thing, in that, we are a business within a business, right? ONPASSIVE is the core, right? ONPASSIVE is the foundation, but then all of us branch out. So we're still interconnected with ONPASSIVE, even though I consider myself running my own business, okay? But I have ONPASSIVE powered behind me, right? So that's why we can say, O Connect powered by ONPASSIVE. We can say O Academy powered by ONPASSIVE, right? And so when we see what goes on out there in the workplace and see the interconnectedness with various companies and even products, right? We can appreciate what we have in ONPASSIVE, that every single product is interconnected. Every single founder is interconnected, right? So, it goes pretty deep, I would say, within ONPASSIVE, what we have. But it's just a matter of seeing where you fit in and how you can be accountable for even your results. Because you do play a role in all of this, right? It's not just I'm in and then I walk away and, I just come back and just check for a paycheck, right? No, we're all connected. We're all in control. We're all have that responsibility, right, of ensuring the success of our company, no matter how small our role may be, right? All of us should feel proud about what has just taken place. We should feel proud when we see our ad, being streamed, right, in between the soccer games, for example. When we see, our ad being shown on the Burj Khalifa, we should feel proud, right? When we have a corporate office, an entire building dedicated just for ONPASSIVE, right? We should feel proud about that because we are all connected, just the same way the Dubai team staff are interconnected with the Hyderabad team and staff and so on, right? But yeah, all started with Mr. Mufara, and so he connected to a few people who connected to a few more and so on. And so it all mushroomed, right? But nevertheless, at the end of the day, right, we are all in this together. And that's why you have that interconnectedness, Julie.
Absolutely, Michael. Yesterday, we get to see some of the images of our tech team, and Mr. Mufara had mentioned on a message to, he not joined in, but he shared a message when we had a celebration of the launch. And he had mentioned that many of our tech team are there 24 hours to focus on the launch and to doing the work. And we get to see some of that images. For me, it's huge when these men and women behind the scene are the tech team are working for ONPASSIVE, but yet they are taking that ownership in what they're doing in their product so seriously. They committed their time, their energy, and focus on seeing this going through. Let's talk about that, Michael. What does that mean to you when he came on and he said, he has to bag some of these tech team to literally go to sleep? But yet, I believe the pride of owning their products, the pride of owning that products that they are creating, it's huge to me. Your thoughts on that, Michael?
Well, again, if you have a set of people who are workers or staff, right, partners, okay, and they go above and beyond, right, with their duties, I mean, that's second to none, right? How can you not appreciate that, right? How can you not get excited about what they're actually doing and the outcome of what they're doing, the result of what they're doing? In other words, the quality of the products that we will have, right? If they're taking that type of care where they're willing to spend, 24 hours, to get the job done, again, it tells us that we can trust them and we can trust their work, right? Because as I said earlier, most people, when they work for a company, they're like, I just punch in and I punch out. And that's it. Don't get me to stay there 1 second later, right? People, they're watching the clock. Oh, it's time for lunch. They're running off to lunch, as opposed to just working. I know for myself, when I'm engaged in an activity, right? If I have something that I have to do, like time, I don't even remember anything. Sometimes, I have to be reminded I need to take a break to go eat, right? Because you're so focused in trying to get the task at hand, completed, right? So that consumes you. And this is what we're seeing with our tech team, is that they care so much about our success, because remember now, they're working on our behalf, right? It's as if I started a company and I hired all these individuals, right? That's what it is, right? Except it isn't, right? We didn't hire all these people ourselves, right? This is what ONPASSIVE is doing as a company, right? But just think of the accountability. Just think of them taking ownership for their actions, knowing that when that product is out there in the marketplace and people are buying it, it's a reflection on who it is that produced it. Who are the workers? Who are responsible for putting this all together? All the credit can't go to Mr. Ashmafara. No, because he's not the one that's actually, putting the pieces together, right? It was his vision, his dream, and all that is coming to light, but you just can't win by yourself. So he is smart enough to know I need to surround myself with smart people, right? But not just smart people, people that will care about what they're doing, people that will take ownership of what they're doing, as if they're the ones that own the actual company. And that is huge. And we will see that, Julie. We will see that, as we get our hands on these products and start to use them. We will see the value, right? So the values are going to represent the care that went into it to make sure it's the best of the best. And when you have the best of the best, Julie, there is no competition.
Absolutely. So true. Well, as exciting as it is, our background said the launch of a lifetime. The questions that I am asking everyone here who's on the Zoom right now and who are currently watching on YouTube, what was your feeling? And if you would put on the comment wherever you are currently watching, what did your feeling when you see the commercial, the 30-second commercial that talk about the brand of ONPASSIVE on TV when you saw it? Did you say to yourself, well, I did. I said to myself, I am the founder of that company. I took that ownership, right? You can literally say, Julie, you don't really own the company, which is very true, but I took that as if it was my own business, right? So I was so proudly said, I am the founder of that company. And many of us in the room that we celebrated yesterday morning said, yes, we are the founders of that company. We are like literally taking the ownership of becoming the founder of that company. Many of us, you are over 4 years. I was almost 4 years, and there are 1.4 millions actually making that decisions of the decision that we make. We own that decision. So Michael, what was your thought when you saw that 30-second commercial on TV or out there in the network that you're watching, and it's in front of billions of people? What was your thought? What was coming through your mind?
Well, I mean, I've never had or been a part of a company, that actually advertised on TV in any way, shape, or form, whether it be on a regular network or whether it's being live streamed. None of that. I mean, this is a major sport, Julie. Like this is massive. The number one sport in the world, the entire world, the globe, 8 billion people. It's the number one sport, right? And so you have your company, right? You have your company that is being displayed to the world like that. So it's a feeling of excitement, right? How can you not be excited about that, right? Because you're not keeping what you have in a bottle, right? And not just that, right? People have to look at the credibility side of things, right? You don't see junk, from a company standpoint anyways. There may be some junk products, right? But you don't see junk from a company standpoint spending this type of money, to be advertising, to be promoting this brand, to getting the word out there, because you have to get the word out there. If we kept it to ourselves, like nothing would happen, right? If no one answered the call when Mr. Mufara put those 2 videos out there, there would be no ONPASSIVE, right? The fact that we answered the call, and to the extent of 1.4, as you mentioned, right? That tells ONPASSIVE, that tells Mr. Mufara, that tells the team something, that there is a demand for what we have. There's a demand. Because if there's no demand, who are you going to supply it to, right? Supply and demand goes hand in hand, right? So we know that just the fact that you got 1.4, there's a demand for it. And when you now bring it out to the world, when you start promoting that brand, okay, then it becomes a household name, which means now you're talking about hundreds of millions of customers, okay, understanding what ONPASSIVE is, seeing how they can benefit from being a part of ONPASSIVE. So absolutely, I'm proud. Why would you not be proud of knowing that you're going to have hundreds of millions of customers come into a company where you were at the very beginning of, and it's a company that is going to be here for a lifetime? That's what we say, the launch of a lifetime, right? So from this perspective of time, right, from time, but also from the perspective of family, in that this is a generational company, right? You're actually part of something that's going to leave a legacy. Most of us go through life and we would never leave a legacy. We just wouldn't, right? We do what we do, maybe have some children, buy a few things, whatever, and then we're gone. And nobody remembers us a few years later, right? Now you are part of something. Your name is stamped on something that's going to be here long after you're gone, right? That is no simple task. And I think a lot of us, we don't really think about that. I like to think deep, Julie, right? I'm that guy that likes to take something, and I'm probably thinking too much about it, right? I'm spending too much time trying to dissect it, figure it out. That's just how my brain works, right? So as I look at ONPASSIVE as a whole in the big picture, right, I'm looking at something that, right, your name is going to be here for a lifetime. Your children's children will still have something called ONPASSIVE. That is massive. And how did we, become so lucky? How did we, end up in this situation? all because we made a good decision that we can take, ownership of. We can own that decision that we made because it was the right decision, right? It's one thing it was the wrong decision, right? It was the wrong decision, and why would I take ownership of that? You know what I mean? I'm trying to duck and work my way out. But we can take ownership of the decision that we made to simply just get in and have this company do all the heavy lifting for us, right? That is powerful. So yeah, I was excited. I was excited yesterday. I was excited the day before yesterday in the anticipation of what's going to happen. I'm excited today because there's still anticipation, right, of what's to come, right? It's not an event. That's why we say it's a process. It's not an event. It's not, boom, this happened yesterday and okay, all right. Okay, now we can relax. No, the excitement continues because we're still a part of that journey, just that we move into another phase of the journey.
Absolutely. The anticipation is so high and so wild, right? So yesterday, the message in that 30-second video was really strong, was really strong. And at the end of that message was, stay tuned, there's more to become. There's more coming. So if you're currently watching this, and if you saw the message of ONPASSIVE while you were watching the World Cup yesterday, the place for you to come and visit is www.onpassive.com. Now, if you are the brand ambassadors of ONPASSIVE, please go ahead and share www.onpassive.com. And if you are not the brand ambassador, there is a section on there that said, if you like to join us all, please go ahead and click on that and go ahead and enter in. You got a chance of a lifetime, because this launch of a lifetime, it is going to be a lifetime. And remember, we do taking the ownership of our decisions. Therefore, go to www.onpassive.com. And if you want to hear the message that came out yesterday, please go to the channel that you're currently watching right now and see it. Michael, I know that there are more things that are coming in ONPASSIVE because of that message, letting us know. Can you let the public know what is coming? There's products coming out. Yes, I think it's good to let everyone know that, maybe.
Well, I mean, absolutely. But it's also good to build up the excitement. It's like a kid in a candy store, right? You want to just build it up and build it up and build it up, and that's what the company's doing now as far as branding, right? Right now, it's all about branding. Just get the brand out there. That's why you see ONPASSIVE.com, ONPASSIVE.com, ONPASSIVE.com. It's to build the brand. So again, from a psychological standpoint, right, it then stays in your subconsciousness, right? So when down the road, you may see something about ONPASSIVE or this particular product that is powered by ONPASSIVE, right? Your brain's going to have a good reaction to it. It's going to like, yeah, you should check that out, right? Because everything about ONPASSIVE is going to be good, right? It's going to be, well, it's an ethical company. It's a company that does what it says it's going to do. It's a company that presents over market value products, right? Like all these things, right? And when you listen, and watch that 30-second video, right? Some of the things are talked about in there, as to what this company will do for you and how you will benefit. Right, so it's certainly a great idea to watch that 30-second video, but we know that there's some great products coming, right? We know that people will have access to OMail, which is, an email platform, but it's going to have features that you haven't seen before. It's going to be something that's better than what you're currently using right now, and it's free, right? So there's nothing wrong in just, let me just check it out and see what this thing is all about, right? So you certainly can go ahead and get that. And then you have ONET, right? So these are the two right away that the person who choose to come in and take a look, they're going to have access to that, right? But then there'll be more. Okay, we don't just stop there. There will be more. And so as we continue through the campaigns, and going through branding, going through promoting the free products, and then promote, what else OnPassive has to offer, people will be able to see all of that, right? And that's why I say it's exciting times that you're actually slowly releasing to the public what you've been working on for the past 4.5 years, right? And so that is good, right? A lot of people didn't think, we will get this far. We had to go through COVID, and yet we're still standing, right? For 2 years, right? The entire globe had to go through that. And we know a lot of companies failed during that process. Companies closed their doors during that process. And here's a company that even opened to the public yet, but it continued to grow and grow and grow. And here we are today, right? Releasing stuff to the public now. So that is incredible, Julie. And I think that those that are not brand ambassadors, they're going to be excited about what they see. It's going to be refreshing, right? It's going to be something that they themselves are going to be proud just to own, just to say, hey, I'm also a part of that, because success is contagious. Happiness is contagious. A smile is contagious. You understand? If I smile, you smile. You understand? Right? So, that's the feeling. Everyone wants to feel good, Julie, right? And so even when we as consumers, the various products that we choose, whether we buy it or it's given as a gift, etc., there are certain products that make you feel good, right? And OnPassive is certainly going to have products that's going to make you feel good. There's no doubt about that. People like to play, people like, fantasy games, people like to have fun. So OnPassive is about having fun. OnPassive is about saving companies money. OnPassive is about changing lives. So, what's there not to, find within OnPassive? OnPassive is the new internet, right? So people, will get used to that idea, and will get used to, oh yes, I'm a part of OnPassive, for sure.
Absolutely. When I was watching that message yesterday, and it said that OnPassive will be the future of financial, in that financial sector, business solutions, crowdfunding. I mean, there are so many things that embody in that globe, in that name of OnPassive. We also see the statement right under there. We are so in it to win it. And I've been observing and seeing the development about OnPassive, and we see there is the ownership, the pride of owning the statement, on owning the information that we're sharing out there. So, it's really true when it comes to the point when our CEO said that OnPassive is made to lift up humanity, made for everyone. I see that you're drinking water. If you're drinking water, if you can drink water, you can be in OnPassive. And it's when he introduced Catmo to all of us, everybody knows what Catmo is, a complete online business solutions now, not only online, offline. It's also 100% automations, also delivering 100% targeted traffic. I mean, that's a huge piece in that Catmo, in that abbreviations. And then, and which is money. Obviously, we are in business, right, to create residual income, to create more money, not only for the company itself, but for anyone that tap into OnPassive. And then OnPassive is letter O, which is over delivery. And I have seen that our CEO and the tech team taking that actions to own what they are doing so far. And I could see that there's coming on. So Michael, I know we are getting kind of closer to the end of the first hour. I wanted to remind everyone the second part of our conversation will not be live streamed. It will be on Zoom. So if you're currently watching this, and if you are brand ambassadors, you get access to our back office. I still call it a back office. Please go there in the webinar tab. We do have the link post there for you. You can go ahead and join us as well. Well, Michael, let's go back really quick. We're talking about that message yesterday. We're talking about Catmo. We're talking about owning, taking that ownership very proudly. And we can see that there are many many people behind the brand that continuously working tirelessly for all of us, not only for the brand ambassadors, but I believe to the entire world. And I also believe that the financial part of it, the business solutions, the crowdfunding will give all of us abundantly living and also total freedom. What's your take on that, Michael?
Yeah, well, interesting that you bring up Catmull. We also have to be reminded that even though you have a 100% automated business, you still have some responsibility as the owner of that business, right? If you have someone who bought a McDonald's franchise, right, McDonald's franchise, they're not necessarily working within the business itself, right? They can hire some staff, the staff will take care of everything, but as that owner, they're still going to oversee the business. They're still going to check in, make sure everything is, being done properly, right? So there's some responsibility. You're not doing the heavy lifting. All the staff that works in that McDonald's restaurant, they are the ones that's doing the heavy lifting. They're the ones that have to wake up at this time, get to work on time, that got to close, right? They have to serve the customers, them, clean the place, all those things. They're doing all the heavy lifting, right? But you are the overseer, right? You are overseeing your business. So this is where that ownership comes back again, where even though we have a 100% automated business, we still have to take that ownership, by making sure we do what we need to do, making sure that we're staying connected to our back office. That's what we're calling the current area that we log into right now. We still want to stay connected to that, to get all the instructions, to know what the next step is and so on, right? So that's ownership, right? Making sure instead of reaching out, what do I do? Okay, clear instructions are there in our back office, right? So take ownership to that. But then going forward, right? Going forward, you're touching on, financial freedom, total freedom, all these things, because that's all about customers, Julie, right? Going back to that McDonald's and giving McDonald's a big props. I think they owe me a check after this one. But, regardless of whether the food is good or not, the point is they get customers upon customers upon customers. I love that sign that says more than 1 billion served. Right. Well, guess what? ONPASSIVE is going to have that sign, right? ONPASSIVE is going to have that sign more than 1 billion served. And so when you have, customers upon customers upon customers, it simply means that you have revenue coming in, right? So in your business, you want to have a lot of customers, right? And certainly ONPASSIVE is producing the tools and products that's going to facilitate all of that, right? We just have to continue to stay engaged, right? So even once we migrate into the ONPASSIVE ecosystem, right, which is our OBS, right, even when we do that, we need to stay engaged. It's not, well, let me just set it and forget it. I know there's some folks that have been involved in, these crypto business here and there, but come on now, let's be truthful, right? A lot of those deals, they weren't real, right? So I certainly don't want to feel good ripping off people, right? Because that's what those things do, right? So that's not what ONPASSIVE is. It's not, oh, I threw some money in and I'm waiting for some money to be spit back out to me. It's a real business. That's what we're talking about. Ownership of your business, because it's a real business. ONPASSIVE is a real brick and mortar business, just that I, okay, Julie, we don't have to do all the heavy lifting that is needed to run a real brick and mortar business, right? And that's a beautiful thing, because most of us would not qualify. We would have the qualification to be able to run that, right? And that's okay, right? Just like I'm not trying to be a lawyer, I'm not trying to be an accountant. I will pay someone to do just that, right? And so you don't have to do everything. So you don't have to be the one doing heavy lifting. In essence, we have ONPASSIVE working for us. And that's a beautiful thing, because that's what's going to produce the mole, right? That's what's going to produce the mole within the cat mole, right? And that is great. So total freedom can be ours with this business simply because of the process, simply because of the mechanisms, simply because of how the business is set up to be able to run, right, on automation. We know that there's automated tools out there, automated software out there, and so on. We know this. It's a given. Okay. So OnPassive has made sure to infuse artificial intelligence in all of its products to make our life easier, simpler. Okay. That's what it's doing for businesses. Okay. It's going to help businesses run more efficiently, help business to be more effective in how it carries out its day-to-day activities. And what does that do? It saves companies money. Okay. And so we're going to be all part of that, providing those products to the marketplace. And as these customers come in, what does it do? Okay. It will help us to gain that financial freedom. It will help us to be able to assist others, blessing the lives of others, helping others in such a way that we are actually uplifting humanity. That's what it's all about, folks. And that's going to make you feel good. You're going to have a smile on your face, feeling so proud that, you know what? I was the one that actually helped, get these homeless people off the street in my neighborhood. I was the one that was able to help, right, and be a part of a group, right, that was able to make sure there's clean water in that particular city or town or even village, right? These are the types of things that we're talking about that OnPassive is going to do. People will be able to use our crowdfunding platform to raise funds for these great causes that are so needed in today's world, right? So that's what OnPassive is all about, folks. It's not just lining our pockets, but being able to take care of ourselves and our family. And then with the excess, right, be able to assist so many people worldwide. And that is going to make us so proud. So definitely take ownership of your business.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. And I really, really love this conversations. But I want our last message is really going to the business owners that currently owning a business, whether or not small, medium, or large size business. You all know for the fact that in order to run your business efficiently, you are going to have to subscribe or using so many applications in order to run your business efficiently. Now, as a real estate agent, for example, I have to use this app, this platform, that platform in order for me to run the business. Once I'm having all that together, I still need to have the part where I need to drive traffic to my business. If I have a listing, I need to get more exposure. Now I have to pay so many bills, in a month in order for that to run sufficiently again. Well, in OnPassive, now I'm going back to the point where I said, Michael, OnPassive is interconnected, right? All the products in OnPassive are connecting together to help the business owners be able to focus on the passion of why they are doing what they are doing, why they are having the business that they are having. Let's wrap together this conversation, Michael, that we are talking about ownership, taking ownership. But let's wrap this together, focusing on the point that we've been saying OnPassive is interconnected. Talk about the products that are connecting together. Your mic is muted, Michael.
Brain freeze. So, we know that, we have a single sign-on, right? We know that we don't have to run from here, there, go between different tabs, log into different sites in order to run our business, right? And I know for me, being online for a number of years, right? What did I have to do? If I needed to have an autoresponder, I got that from one company, right? If I needed to have a bulk mailer to send out millions upon millions of emails, I needed that from another company, right? There's just so much, right? Traffic, right? I didn't get traffic from one source. I had to get traffic from a whole bunch of different sources, right? And the list goes on and on. Like everything I needed, right? It was a standalone company that was providing that for me, right? And so it's, it's tedious, right? Like you log in here, log in here, log, going to different places. How much easier, how much more convenient it is to just one login and have everything is there at my disposal. Just click here, just click there, just click there, just click there. Everything is right there that I need to run my business, right? And so that's how OnPassive is set up. OnPassive is set up so that, customers, they're gonna have a better experience, right? And when you have customers having a good experience, they come back, right? They come back. They want to stay. They become loyal customers, right? Because if you're like me, anyways, and you do something and you don't like it, I just don't go back. If I buy something from a store and I don't like it, whatever, the service was bad or the product was bad or whatever the case may be, wasn't a good experience, I'm not going to put myself back in that situation again, right? I walk away. You just lost a customer. I just had a recent experience, as a matter of fact, in booking a ticket for my son. And, it was one price. And by the time I finished the book and, they added more money on top of it, I was like, what happened? Did I miss something? So it wasn't a good experience. I called the customer service. I'm saying, listen, this is what the price was. And by the time I fill out all information, all this stuff, and then I click, that price was for a premium member versus, I said, but it didn't state that though, right? I said, it's a non-issue if it stated that. It didn't. It says, this is what the price is. I said, okay, sounds good to me. And I booked it, right? So I told the person, I said, well, okay, you just lost a customer because I'm not using you guys ever again, right? I'm not going to cancel it. It's okay, I'll go through with the transaction, but I'm not coming back to your site ever again, right? And so that's what I mean about the client experience. So when you have a good experience, you're going to stay loyal. You're going to keep coming back and coming back and coming back and coming back. No doubt about it. There's certain places that I go, I always go back as a customer because of the experience that I receive. And so that's what OnPassive is going to provide to businesses, is to give them, that good client experience, a good customer experience, make them feel good in the decision that they've made, just like us, right? We feel good in the decision that we've made to just get in, to be that brand ambassador, right? And so that's what's going to happen here. Everything is all connected, one platform, single sign-on. It's going to be easy. It's going to be seamless, and people are going to love it, right? People are going to love it. People that don't love stuff that they don't love, right? They love stuff that they actually love, that they enjoy. It's all about the experience, right? And I think that a lot of businesses is going to adapt the OnPassive model. A lot of businesses are going to come in as customers because of what we can provide them, right? If you save companies money, that alone is a win, just by saving them money, right? And then when you add all the other stuff on top of it, when you're giving them features that they don't have with their current provider, as an example, you're going to make their lives so much more easier. Their business is going to run, way more efficient, right? And that's what companies are looking for. So provide what they're looking for, and you have a winner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us. Thank you, Michael, for coming in and having this discussion with me. If you're currently watching this, I urge you to go to www.onpassive.com. And if you are not the brand ambassador of OnPassive, there is a button there that you want to receive. If you want to receive more information, remember the message is future financial, future business solutions, future crowdfunding. If you want to know all of that information, and if you like to, even looking at the products of OnPassive, the website is www.onpassive.com. That's where you will receive the information. So go ahead and click on that website. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time. Now, everyone, if you're currently watching this on YouTube, live stream 20 channels around the world, And if you like to join us in the Zoom, it is now the best time for you to log into our back office and go ahead and click on the Zoom. It's posted in the webinar tab. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you, Michael. And please have a great day. I'm going to go ahead and stop the live stream, stop the recording, and we're going to take about 2 minutes break. And we're going to come back and having a conversation with our brand ambassadors as well. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. And if you start your evening or start your day today, sleep well, start your day today, have a blessed day. All right, we'll see you soon inside the Zoom.